What's happening? Yo, 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 yo. I see that intro didn't go all the way through. So we're going to do that again, Mark. And then we're going to edit this out. It didn't go through. Start it over. We're going to edit that out, please. Thank you. All right, now we're back. Much better intro. Bump from the front seat. 9 on the grind is upon you. Today, OG hip hop legend out of Queens, New York. Rough Riding, OG Eric J. Bombshell in the house all day, y'all. New York City, where you at? Say yeah. Bump from the front seat is upon you. 9 on the Grind TV. We had some technical difficulties, but you know how we roll. We don't give a fuck. New Jersey, where you at? Make sure every day is in the house today. Every day is in the house today, y'all. Delaware, you aware? New Jersey, you heard? Staten Island, Charlotte. Nothing but the bump today, yo. Bump from the front seat. 9 on the Grind TV. We are back live. DC, where you go at? Philadelphia, Dr. Brooks, where you at? Georgia, North and South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Seymour. Florida, where you at? New Orleans, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Texas. Minneapolis, Ohio. Where you at, Detroit? Canada, what you doing? West Coast, the left coast. California, Nevada, what you doing? What's up, Brendan, Ohio? What's up, Patty? What's up, Boosie? Eric J is with us today, y'all. Come on, ride with us, bump from the front seat, y'all. Vito tried to jack us today, but we ain't rolling like that. Hawaii, what's up? Tokyo, I'm hungry. I say yo. Japan, Samoan, doing the Humpty Hump. Humpty Hump. Africa, Dubai, England. What's up, DJ Cocolino? Elizabeth Fletcher in Ireland, I got you. Carmen, I love you in Australia. What's up, Wendy? What's up, Danny Stokes to Germany? Oh, yeah. I'm repping Joe Keys today. Great Bloomer Band. Thank you, Joe. I'm hyped up today, y'all. Back live, feeling better. Woo! We got a good one for you today, y'all. All around the world. Hip-hop is in the house. Hip-hop royalty is in the house. You feel me? And like I said, we got a really good hot show for you today. We had some technical difficulties in the beginning. I don't know what was going on with that, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. I'm your host, number 9, all day on the grind TV. Yes. Funk from the front seat. Today, we got a special show. My good buddy, my brother, my funk brother from another mother, Eric J's in the house with us today. He get ready to come on, and we're going to talk about some of his projects that he's been working on, as well as the state of hip-hop, as well as how we see the future of hip-hop, drop top, all that funk stop stuff going on out in the world. Of course, hashtag funk not fight. You can follow his information on the bottom. I got my producer today, Mr. Mark Lee, is back there somewhere doing something, and I don't know what. So I guess we'll figure out what happened at the top of this show. But right now, without further ado, to you, I'm gonna bring my funk brother, my family, somebody I'm really proud of, somebody that I've worked with on many projects and many more to come. I got my main man in the house right now, OG designated hitter for the funk, Mr. Eric J. What up, bro?
Yo, what's good?
You know what's good, man. What's popping, bro? What's locking?
It's all good, man. Yo, I've been watching your videos, man. You've been sending me with Nappy Head down there performing in North Carolina, man. Yo, make me hungry, son. You know how I feel about the stage, kid.
Hey, you the OG, so your spot is forever reserved right next to me. You know what I'm saying? We're working on something. Matter of fact, man, we're hanging out today with Eric J, man. I just touched base with some people up in Connecticut. So, the New York mob, OG Nappy Head Funk Army, we coming to do some stuff, and y'all will already be there. So we're going to work that out. I'll talk to you about it, but I just got off a meeting yesterday, and they got these things popping in Connecticut. Of course, that's big funk country. So,
No doubt, man.
I'm working on some things. Yeah, I'm working, bro. I'm working it. So how are you and Cynthia doing, man? I miss you guys.
Yeah, man, we miss you as well, man. She's doing good, man. She's around the house a lot more now. She's about to retire, so it's all
good, man. That's what's up. Tell her, give a big hug for me, and tell everybody up that way I said hello, man.
I sure will, man.
Yeah. Any birthdays out there, just know that happy birthday. We wish you guys that. Anybody had any anniversaries, we love you guys. Any transitions out there today, just know that we love you. We're about peace, love, and harmony. It's actually HIV/AIDS Awareness Month, Universal Rights Month, Human Rights Month, Sensual Affective Disorder Month, Seasonal Effectiveness Disorder Month. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I think it's like a mental illness kind of thing. And also it's Dress Member. So I guess it means that we could dress how we normally would dress. I'm feeling your go-go. Totally feeling that go-go.
No doubt, man. Yo, go-go pumps through my veins, man, hard.
Yeah, it does, man. So for our audience that's just tuning in or whatever, give our audience a little bit of background information on how you came up and where you came up and all that good stuff, man. Give them a little color before we start the show.
All right, I basically got involved with hip hop music, or I still call it b-boy music, because I was there in the early days, in the early 70s, when cats started playing in my project in like around 73, and before they started playing as DJs, we used to have live bands play. And years later, I found out the guys that were in the band were members of the Black Spades, and they had their own band, and these cats used to get it in, man. I mean, I remember them playing like Them Changes from Buddy Miles, and that kind of stuff. And then the DJs came out and they started playing in the street, and they played mostly all the funky stuff that you didn't hear on the radio. They were playing in the park, and they had the parks rocking. So
yeah. And
then when I moved from Bronxdale Houses to Mount Vernon, we left there in 76. I really didn't see anybody doing it outside of my old neighborhood. But then I went to a basketball game, and they had a jam after the game in the cafeteria. And the DJs there was the Collins Brothers. And they were getting it. I mean, they were playing all the breaks, like Catch a that was like the first time I really felt Catch a Groove, man, coming through that system with the and
right.
Oh, man, it was crazy. And they had Wayne Will, Kenny J, and Papa Dujan was the MCs. And, these cats were standing on chairs and tables and rhyming. And it was like hundreds of people in there just, rocking off the break beats, man. It was crazy. So right then and there, I decided I wanted to be a DJ. I wanted to play like that. So I didn't have equipment, and I ran into a guy, and it's funny, they say, when you meet people, this dude was always like clowning me in the street. He called me like, yo, what's up, funny nut? And I was like, man, who is this guy, man? Every time I see him, he's called me funny nut. So one day we ran into each other at the pizza shop. We just started, talking and laughing and, just telling jokes and being clowns. And then we found out we were both interested in this music, man, with the break beats and stuff. But neither one of us had equipment. But I had a stereo that my mother had that, you remember those stereos that had had a record player on the top, and then there was a radio receiver on the bottom, and I had one and he had one. So he used to bring his over, and we sit them side by side, and we would plug the headphones in and listen to the cue of music. We would plug the headphones in, one had the volume down while the other one was playing, and then we switched the volumes to make it sound like we were cutting back and forth with a mixer. So when we finally got a chance to get our hands on a mixer, we was already nice with it. So that was the beginning of our DJ career as breakbeat DJs. And we used to take the train down to Downstairs Records and all these various record shops in Manhattan and buy our records. And we go to Downstairs Records and and try to find out what Bam Bottom bought the day before or whatever, and be like, yo, what did he buy? And then we pop those same records, and we had all the beats, and we do parties, man. That was the beginning of me getting into hip hop.
Yo, man, let me tell you something. It's so nice, and we're hanging out with Eric J, hip hop legend. From the New York area, and has worked with everybody, knows everybody, and is doing his thing currently. Got some videos we're going to show with him and everything. And my producer, Mr. Mark Lee, is back there behind the glass, and he'll have some of that stuff ready later. And thank you guys for all tuning in. Stay active on the chat line, man, because we definitely need your support now more than ever. Especially this brother, man. It's like he been there, done that, and he's still doing it hard. I watched the video the other night, man. That one is tight, man. Run silent, run deep.
Run deep. Yeah.
I love that, man. I was listening to the words over and over, and I was like, your message, you feeding people spiritual food and, feeding them. What's funny? People don't realize not today. Back then, you were a DJ. You had to go buy 2 albums of the same thing all the time. The DJs coming. It wasn't like now with the technology. The Fearless 4 MCs had a rhyme about how a computer would take over how a man would think back in the 80s. And that's what this technology basically does. It cuts out all of the work that we did manually. You press a button now, and what we had to, hone as a craft, you could you could do it at the press of a button now. So, that takes away from a learning experience to me. Your mind doesn't really, expand, and you don't have to go looking for records. Like we used to have to, if you heard a record that somebody else played, they wouldn't let you know what it was, and you had to do your research and go around and see if you could find that same record, and then you would need a pair to keep the groove going to make a loop. As you DJ and you're going back and forth and you're catching the break, and that you're establishing a loop, a groove for the MC to do his thing on. Yeah. That's what I miss about live entertainment nowadays. Everything is tracked. I went and seen a few bands this weekend or past weekend, whatever. And a lot of this stuff is tracked. And I'm not against track acts because I've played in many of them myself. But like you said, I think it's good to have both, because if you're going to learn old school, that's irreplaceable knowledge. Like you have knowledge, inside of you that's irreplaceable, that is worth more than millions and millions of dollars, because you had to hone your craft, and then even up until, like I would say, the 80s, whatever, maybe mid 80s, being a DJ and MC, that was a special thing. Not everybody could do that.
No, not everybody could do that at all. And I remember I had a job in Sam Ash for like one day because they put me in the DJ department, right? And you got people, this Italian man comes in with his little son, and he's like, "Oh, my son wants to be a DJ," and they bought a DJ set in a box, man. I was like, "Oh man, I said, y'all giving it away like that now?" Because we built everything from nothing, man.
Yeah,
we built everything from nothing. I
you know, a lot of guys had, you know, systems that they went out and they paid a lot of money for. But I was from the days where we were in my mom's basement with wood and electric saws, man, cutting up, you know, making our own sound system with speakers, man. We built our stuff, man.
Yeah. I remember the first time I saw a professional DJ on Long Island, you know, and I saw the two turntables, and I kind of knew what the local guys were doing at the parties. But, you know, they were running through Yamaha, you know, speakers like about maybe that big. They were pioneers, Yamaha. They were loud. But, you know, there was no real cutting involved. And it was just play a song and kind of wait for it to come up and then try to get the other one in, you know. And the first time I saw a professional DJ and I was watching him, I was like, man, this is a real skill, because he had took that wax pencil and waxed, you know, put arrows where everything should start. And I was watching this technique, man. His name was Greg Williams of Amityville. And then I talked to him after, and I was like, bro, I was like, what is this about? Because me being a musician, I'm like, man, this is taking all my work away. I didn't really like DJs when they first came out at first. I hated it. I wasn't the person. I was like, there's nothing for the drummer to do. You know, first thing that went when hip hop came out was the drummer. We were the first ones to go, bang, get off. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, damn. But then I watched him, and then I had respect for his craft and understood where this was going. Then I got into programming drum machines and stuff, because I knew, I was like, oh, this stuff is here to stay. You know? And
you know, if you get the right person programming a drum machine, and you couldn't tell if it was that it was a drum machine, because I the guys, man, and I tried to, you know, follow, you know, their procedures of programming, because they made their drum program sounded like a guy playing, man. And but then you get the guys that well, you know, it sounds like a cat pulling at a ball of yarn when they program something, you know. It's like,
yeah. And them early drum machines, they was a little bit wanky to work with, man, because you had to quantize stuff, and and remember that? And I could never do that. I used to have to take my stuff to people. Jeff Roberson used to do all my drum beats. I was like, yo, here's what I want, but I can't quite get it, and I ain't got the patience for it. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, the good old days. And see, the good thing is, we're blessed to hear now, to talk about it and to keep spreading what you do, man. Before we get into Run Silent, Run Deep, and I'm a Funkaholic, I wanted to ask you, and we're going to get into some other things too. We're hanging out, you know, with Eric J. He's going to be with us all day, a Funk from the Front Seat. I appreciate this brother, man. He's a Nappy Head Funk Army OG as well, man. And, you know, I got nothing but much love and respect for you, man. In respect to the old school, right? And I don't want to call it the old school. I call it the pro school.
Yeah.
Like you said, you guys built this stuff. Who were some of the artists that you kind of rubbed elbows with and said, you know what, we can work together? Who were some of the people that you dug and hung out with and copped their vibe, they copped your vibe?
Well, I had a good friend who's that passed away right at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. You know, we think that was a fact of him leaving.
Oh, man.
Tyrone T-Bone Gallimore.
Yeah, I saw that picture, yeah.
Yeah, and Tyrone was I don't think anybody believed more in my talents than him, man. And then he used to go around, no matter where he went, he would always mention me. And then if I was with him, he would introduce me to people, because he's one of these cats with the gift of gab, and he would introduce me to people and hook me up musically with them, because he hooked me up with the incredible DJ WizKid, Harold McGuire, who's no longer with us either. Harold passed in '96, but Harold was like he was ridiculous on the turntables, man. When he came along, he brought a style of DJing that nobody had, and he was going around winning contests all over the place. And Tyrone introduced me to him because we knew his brother Mike. And I saw WizKid spin at Mount Vernon High School one night, and I had a friend with me from my math class, and he, you know, and I was nice on the turntables, but this kid was like, yo, Eric, can you do that? Can you do that? Every time Wiz would do something, I was like, oh, no, I can't do that, man.
Right.
Because Wiz was on a whole nother level. And like a week later, Tyrone had me in his house, you know, and I'm sitting there, and Wiz turned around, was like, my name's Harold, man. And he started DJing, and it was amazing because he had a mixer that the fader was broken, so he was using the volume levels like we used to use the two stereos together, and with his speed and everything, and he had his records on the other side of the room, and him and his brother Mike slept in the same room. And Wiz used to have to jump over both beds to grab another record and to come back, and he would do it on beat. I was like, yo, this guy is amazing, man. So, and, Wiz went on to do that song, Play That Beat, Mr. DJ, with MC O, which was like one of the biggest hits that Tommy Boy had in the early days besides Planet Rock.
Yes.
And and that, that helped build Tommy Boy into a powerhouse independent label. So, Wiz was a real good friend of mine. And Tyrone also introduced me to Vance Wright, who was Slick Rick's DJ. And Vance used to have me come by his studio to play bass. And I would we would just lay tracks for hours and hours and hours. So I got, through Vance, I got to work with like Greg Nice and Dana Dane. And, we did work on Slick Rick's on projects. And, Vance did some commercial work with the bass lines I did. So, I got a lot of, I've been in the trenches with a lot of different people.
I know you have, man. Believe me, every time you drop something that's historic, I try to always grab it and tag it because I know you're dropping this knowledge to let people know, listen, you've been doing this thing for a minute. And this is no offense to West Coast or Midwest or down South, but we know the origin of true hip hop. Now, I'm not saying there weren't people doing it West Coast or down South or whatever, but we know this shit started in New York, in the streets, hip hop from the streets of New York City. And nobody can really take that away from New York. That's one thing that East Coast can say. There was no such thing as East Coast, West Coast rivalry and all this BS. That was made up by the Illuminati and the cabal that just people buy records, pit people against. Original hip hop, OG, y'all used to battle, but it was a different mindset. You would be repping, right? Your neighborhood, your city, right?
Yeah, it was like, you go up, it was more like friendly competition, man, to see, battle for the, the right to say you the baddest one out there, man. Because, you would go out and you see somebody play. And then, and you would sit there in your mind, you would like critique it and say, oh, we could do better than that. And then, of course, at the end of the party, everybody's standing around talking junk. And next thing you know, it's like, well, next week, you bring your stuff and I'll bring my stuff. And it turns into a battle. But at the end of the night, it was friendly. Everybody shake hands, go have a beer,
Yep. I got to ask you something. And I know there's always this one guy or one team. When there used to be like, say, 3, 4, 5 DJs in the park, right? And everybody got their time slot. And I remember this distinctly as a musician just watching this, right? There was always the one guy never cared about time slot, nothing. He had the biggest, loudest equipment, and he would just blast in when he felt like he just could. Who was that guy in your area?
Oh man, we had a couple of guys that could do that. And the way I used to get by like that, I used to rent my sound system from a guy named Richard Levister.
Okay.
And his sound system was called the Earthquake System. I tell you right there, if somebody tried to play against the Earthquake System, you just look at Richard, he turned it up.
Yeah.
It just blow you out the frame,
Yeah.
Like cats like Bam Bottom, man. Bam and them had a big system, man. I mean, you'd be at a party and the tweeters would go out and somebody had to climb, like they climbing on top of a building to put to fix them tweeters, man.
Yeah. I know, like those were the golden days of, I say, when it was all about the kickoff because there was message in the music. Don't push me, I'm close to the edge. There was spiritual lyrics and food and soul in the music. Dr. Brookenstein says hello. Of course, you got Kevin and Nancy on popping it, real hard, and we appreciate you guys. Much love for you, man. They were the times when, like, Public Enemy was doing it when they finally came out, and Fear of a Black Planet and all of that. So it was conscious, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Now, let's fast forward a little bit, but not too far, because we're going to tell this whole story today. And this is just part one of a 3-part series with Mr. Eric J, hip hop legend. So thank you guys for tuning in. So we're going to if we don't get everything in today, we still got 2 more parts to do on this journey here. some of the newer hip hop artists, like some of the guys that put out this conscious rap stuff, I kind of like. But at the same time, it has branched them off into so many other areas, movies, TVs, commercials, clothing. I remember when Crush Groove first came out, that was like the biggest thing I had ever seen as far as hip hop was concerned, because it was a movie about hip hop. And I knew then with Run DMC and with PE and Crush, and I said, I was telling people, I was doing weddings at the time and they was mocking hip hop. I was like, listen, this stuff is here to stay. I was like, this is a culture speaking to this generation. I said, y'all just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the very first hip hop movie was Wild Style. And
okay.
And Charlie and Heron did that movie. And he said that all he wanted to do was not really tell a story, but just put a frame around the picture that was already there. So that movie really showed hip hop as it was in the beginning. It had Fantastic, Romantic Five, Cold Crush Brothers, Lil Rodney C, and KK Rockwell, Double Trouble. Lisa Lee was in there. And it showed hip hop what it was in the beginning. Grand Wizard Theodore was one of the DJs in there, and Kev Rockwell, and and that showed what hip hop was. When Crush Groove came about, that was more of Hollywood's view of what hip hop was.
Okay, all right, that's good to know.
Yeah, but it was because it's still one of the earlier flicks, but that was like more of a Hollywood version of what hip hop was.
Okay.
Before that, we had they put out Beat Street.
Yes.
Beat Street was good because a lot of the originators were in it, but it's like still to me it was more like Hollywood, so the closest thing I ever seen to what hip hop was Wild Style.
Yeah. See, that's good to know. And again, you finding out exclusives on Funk from the Front Street because a lot of people don't really know the origin. They just like fast forward to like, oh, it went from Eric B. and Rakim to say 50 Cent to Jay-Z to the, you know what I'm saying? They don't know.
Yeah,
they don't have a clue, man. And this is why I wanted to get on and make sure we document your story, man, because you one of the people like that built the trenches. You know what I'm saying? So if you was in the trenches, you definitely built the trenches, man. Run silent, run deep, and I'm a funkaholic. But why do you think hip-hop artists today get snubbed as far as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is concerned? It bothers me, but I just want to know what your thoughts are.
With the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's kind of weird with them, man, because they put people on like, it's like after you get a whole big uproar about how come this person ain't there, all of a sudden they rush to the dashboard and try to get it up there. So, but hip hop, still I feel there's people in the industry that never respected it. They didn't respect it back then in the beginning. They thought it was just going to be a fad. And, hip hop has influenced all genres of music, man. I watched a basketball game the other night, and the Phoenix Suns, their music now, when they introduced in the team, they got Native American music singing over hip hop beats. That blew my mind, man.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you,
anything like that.
Yeah, man. It's funny you say that because when I look at I study a lot of foreign videos and things like that, Japan, Tokyo, that's why I'm always mentioning those places, right?
Yeah.
Because they are hip hop, dance beat, like techno out of their mind crazy.
Yeah.
Because you ever see like they be doing all this stuff and everybody be in sync when they be doing it, right? And they be doing it to like hip hop and stuff. And I love it because it just means that the new generation took that other stuff and then said, listen, this is how we're going to flip it. The only thing I want them to do more is feed me something when I'm listening to the lyrics. That's not much to ask. Just feed me a little something. I don't like it. And we're going to get into this on the other side. And I'm going to ask you your opinion about this. But I don't like the fact that the industry has our people, minorities, we're the only ones talking about maiming, killing, defaming, and degrading our women in our hip hop.
Well,
you don't see why that's doing that.
That's by design. That's
it is.
Like when you mentioned Public Enemy, you know, when all of that stuff was going on, you know, that's when the industry stood up and took notice. Like, wow, not only can we make a lot of money off of this music, but this music reaches people and makes them think. And if we can control what the music is saying, we can control what people think. And,
Amen.
you know, and that, you know, you got all these kids running around believing that the gangsters, and it's like, you don't want to be a gangster. You don't understand what being a gangster is. You don't want to have scars from getting cut. You know, you don't want to have bullet wounds. You don't want to have to wear a colostomy bag. That's what being a gangster is. And, you know, most of the gangsters that you hear about, the longest they have is like a 2 or 3 year run. Then they spend the rest of their time in jail if they survive that.
Yep. You know, and I'm glad you said that because we can go all the way back to the original OGs. Al Capone only had about a 5-year run. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's by design, and we're going to really get into this after we listen to your videos on the other side. It's by design, and independent artists like yourself that are on, you know, great labels and great organizations like K&M Jams, working with Kev and Nancy, is like, we still have an opportunity to change some of this in our way. And that's why I'm so glad to have you on the show, man. We're hanging out with OG, my buddy, my brother, my friend, designated hitter for the funk, OG Eric J. Always talk about stay on code, run silent, run deep is one of his videos. I'm a Funkaholic is another one. But before we do that and get back on the other side, my producer, Mr. Markley, knows I love to hear Keith Jackson's voice. And we're going to shout out Mr. Keith Jackson, P-Funk Radio. And also today, y'all can see I'm rocking my Joe Keys shirt. Thank you, Joe. Late Bloomers Band. Thank you, brother, for always sending me some swag. I appreciate that. And anybody that wants to send me something, including you, Kev, XXXL, I see them new shirts.
Yeah, those shirts are fire, Kev, man. I got to talk to you. I see one or two I like, man.
I like that, man. I like that. See, Mark's laughing because Mark knows that I'm always begging for perks. I see you back there, Mark. Yo, man, let's like that video for Keith.
Hey, this is Keith Jackson with P-Funk Radio, inviting you to check out my brother Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat. Saturdays, 12 noon on the East Coast and 9 a.m. on the West Coast. It all happens on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube. Great guests, great conversation each and every Saturday. That's Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Robinson on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Check him out.
Hey, it's Chrissy Key Rollins here with Holistic Restoration, inviting you to check out Zach Robinson with Funk in the Front Seat. He drops new episodes every Saturday at noon on the East Coast time and replays.
I don't know what's going on back there, but it's okay, Mark.
Hey, it's Chrissy Key Rollins here with Holistic Restoration, inviting you to check out Zach Robinson with Funk in the Front Seat. He drops new episodes every Saturday at noon on the East Coast time, and replays are posted for whenever you miss a live stream. You can find him on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube, and get ready for the funk because he brings it every week along with hot topics, amazing guests, and great conversations. Again, that's Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Go check them out.
And we are back, but check it out. P-Funk Radio, JTRP, Gabe Gonzalez, Larry Circle of P. Robin Circle of P, and Larry Funkster Jones on Saturday nights. Love you guys, man. Thanks for always supporting the Nappy Head Funk Army and all the funk music around the world. Of course, Bootsy and Patty Collins. Love you guys for your foundations, and I'm honored to be a Club Funk Ambassador Vice President. HJ Entertainment, K&M Jams. Love you guys. As always, Tony Cam, Funk All-Stars, man. Can't wait to get this new Funk Radio tour going. The Nappy Head Funk Army, which Eric J is a member. Oak City Music Collective down here in Raleigh. Thank you for booking us. Afterglow 92416. Donna Steed, Otis Benevolent Funk, Q&A Entertainment. I love you guys. Good looking out. Brooke Clagett, my Funk Angel. Love TXS Energy Drinks, which I need more. So if you're out there watching, send me some, please. Pat Dioria, Aquarius Rising Art. Curtis Wilcox and George the Funk Vinci. All this beautiful artwork and logos that you see comes from one of those three people, and I am grateful. Dr. Bruckenstein, I love you, man. Thank you for always taking care of the website. DJ Coccolino over in Italy, thank you for spinning my stuff. The Funk Chronicles, Mr. David Webb, and if you don't know about it, please support the Funk Chronicles out of Dayton, Ohio. He actually does interviews for all the funk artists all around the world, and he has memorabilia. Please send this brother $1 if you can. And also one of my new sponsors, I call her, you know, my superhero woman, Christy. I love you, Christy. Thank you for sending me some Nappy Head Funk Army exclusive colored green cold towels, so when you wet them, they get cold and this and that. And these are things we're going to be hanging out and passing out at the show. So thank you, Superwoman. You're my superhero. I love you for that. We're back on the other side with my good brother, my friend, my compadre, my musical companion, Mr. Eric J. You know, OG hip-hop legend. Of course, you know, he's done many, many different things. He's a percussionist, breakbeat DJ, plays bass, plays drums, go-go, hip-hop, sings vocals, collector of music, and, of course, Nappy Head Funk Army designated hitter for the funk. All right, let's get back to it. I want to drop this one, Run Silent, Run Deep, if Mark is ready back there, because I want you to set this up before we actually play it, and tell us a little bit about the concept and what made you drop this video.
Well, the concept is like just staying under the radar, because as you can see the way things are today, you know what, you know, if you break that surface, you don't know what you can get faced. You know, you get faced with a lot of stuff, man, that gets thrown in your face, and it'll take you out of your mental cycle, man. And, you know, I try to, you know, stay even on an even keel. So I run silent, I run deep, you know.
I like that. That's you know, a reference to what probably our ancestors, how they used to roll with that. You know what I'm saying? So, Mr. Mark Lee, are we ready back there? All right, let's run that, bro. Thank you, sir.
When the bass drop, keep it raw on the floor, this is hip hop. Jot it down with paper and pencil, flowing like water straight from the mental. Pick it up from the bottom like loose change. Ain't no pain or strain when you rearrange. There's more to gain when lies are slain. I shall remain in the game. I'm shooting straight with a full clip, like a submarine keeping it well. Shit, a blue horse turned out to be red, and 4 years later, 250,000 lie dead, like Fred getting smashed with a Flintstone. A baritone saxophone through this microphone, a hoax to the folks between the coast. Great Caesar's ghost, them hillbillies are broke. No way you can tell me I'm not expendable. Everyday front line, I'm essential. All the chit chatter, go check the data, don't matter. My check don't get no fatter. Hit the street, sundown, underground. Pumping 93, better buy the pound. 2020, it ain't really funny. If you wanna survive, you better have money. Run silent, run deep. Stay on your feet, kids, you know you can't sleep. Run silent, run deep. Time to wake up, don't follow the sheep. Run silent, run deep. Stay on your feet, kids, you know you can't sleep. Run silent, run deep. Time to wake up, don't follow the sheep. It's a serious game, I wish my pops was here to talk to. Maybe me and him could walk through the most crucial times that I've ever witnessed. I stay on code, I handle my business. The system's got 100 ways to get you. Stay focused, black. Look at the big picture while I'm still here. I'm gonna stand on my square. It's love I share. If I didn't, I wouldn't care. The pipe's about to burst. You need a system test. Red lights are going off. It's a motherfucking mess. You know what's up. Turn up the cut. The case is open shut. It's time to mask up. Hands up. You're yelling those stupid, but dancing for the man ain't really that cute. But sit on the World Wide Web could blow your head. Leave it alone and meditate instead. The girls and boys in, evading the poison. See through the smoke and the background noise. And what I do when I step out the front door, keep it funky from the Bronx to Bay Shore. Black hat, black shades, I roll in the black car. You looking for me? I'm under the radar. Have some backbone, stand on 2 feet. Stay woke, don't sleep, run silent, run deep. Run silent, run deep.
Stay on your feet, kid, you know you can't sleep.
Run silent, run deep.
Time to stay woke, don't follow the sheep.
Run silent, run deep.
Stay on your feet, kid, you know you can't sleep.
Run silent, run deep.
Time to stay woke, don't follow the sheep.
How times have changed men. How times have changed men. How times have changed men. How times have changed men.
Bro, that's so dope. I love the visual concept of how you went pro school from back in the day, you know, and did all the stuff that we grew up with, man. Tell us a little bit about that shoot. Where was it at?
Oh, that was in Orchard Beach in the Bronx, man.
Okay.
You know, I used to live like 5 miles from Orchard Beach, you know, before I moved out here to Long Island. You know, in Mount Vernon, I used to get on my bike like after work and just go out to Orchard Beach, man, for peace of mind, man.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. You know, and I'm glad you gave Bay Shore the shouty. That was nice.
Oh,
when I
no.
was listening to the other night, he was like, for the Bay Shore, I was like, yo.
Yo, man, I could, when we used to play bass show, I could, that was a factor in me moving out here, man. I was like, man, these people love the funk, man, out here. I had to be around that, man.
Yeah, that was dope, man. I heard it. I was listening and I heard this track and I listened to whatever. And I love how you just kicking the message, man, you know, and you can see, you know, your influences as well as how you mixed it with your own personality and made your style individuality. The style that you have is such an individual thing, but then I still hear all these other influences like Grandmaster and Eric B. I still hear all of those too. So kudos to you, because that's not an easy thing to do. So congratulations, man. Run Silent, Run Deep. Y'all go out and grab it. You know, make sure you have it. Put it on your Christmas list. Click the links. Follow his information below. Now we got another one. I'm a Funkaholic, right? Tell us a little bit about that before we spin that on him.
Oh man, that was my expression of how much I love the funk and how much the funk is in me. And I wrote that in 1990 when I was with a group called the Moon Society, and we were working on an album. And you know, I had 2 MCs and a male vocalist, singing on hooks and whatnot. So, you know, the 2 MCs were writing their jams, and, you know, I was like, man, I want to get in on this because, you know, I want to show I can flex on the mic a little bit too. So
Right.
I put the music together. I sampled a Buddy Miles record that Jimi Hendrix played on an obscure album that they did. I think the name of the album was Electric Church, and had 2 like Buddy Miles standing between 2 locomotives. And
Right.
I was like, man, this groove is just, so I chopped the groove up and I put it together. I put my own drums behind it. You know, I did all my scratching, and it was really a tribute to Bernie Worrell, because he did, because at that time, his album Funk of Ages came out. And on the song, he had a song called We Are the Funkaholics.
Yes.
I wrote that, you know, I'm a funkaholic too. You know, I'm a funkaholic. You know, that's why I wrote that. And I got to perform it with Bernie and Jerome Braley and a whole bunch of cats from Billy Bass and all these cats from the original Funkadelic when Brother Eddie Hazel passed away. they did a tribute to him at SOBs.
Yes.
So I stand in the crowd, and Billy Bass said, "Yo, we got any rappers in the house?" And nobody said nothing. So I threw my hand up. He said, "Yo, I mean serious rappers." He said, "Yo, man, get up on stage, and if you ain't got it, we gonna let you know." And I got up there. I did that song, man. Them cats grabbed me and embraced me, man. They had me in the dressing room. I was like, I'm in funk heaven, dog. I was like,
dog, good for you. See,
if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be me, man. You know,
Yeah.
I got Billy Bass, you know, Sheila Horn was there, who I ended up working with like a year later, because she played, you know, she joined us in Dave Mullen's band Solstice. So, you know, I met Sheila that night, man. It was crazy, man. So I'm a Funkaholic is my tribute to the whole P-Funk family, man. Love y'all, man.
Yo, man, that's what's up, man. We're going to get into that on the other side. Mr. Mark Lee, I'm a Funkaholic. So
everybody funkin' and don't know how. That's right, baby. I got my sunglasses on. That's the law around here, you know. So just I'm a funkaholic, and the beat drops when I call it. Like a mechanic, I'm gonna install it. Pour me some sarsaparilla. Don't smell like a gorilla, but funkin' like Beatzilla. I roll with the punches. Sucker step up and get crunched in bunches. Not here to fool you. Use a mic stand to impale like Shaka Zulu. On the weekends it's hard to find me. Me and T-Bone chilling in the Cherokee. Who's got a radar detector and a ride shotgun? The cheese inspector. The cheese inspector. We approach kinda cocky, cause I wanna score gold like playing knock hockey. I'm not cereal, don't chew me like Fruit Loops. Not vanilla ice, and I can't be duped. The new society, petty shit don't faze us. Flex the wrong way, we hit like Larry Davis. Here's your chain, son, put it in your wallet. Dig the groove and roll with the funkaholic. That's right, I'm a funkaholic. You're rolling with the funkaholic. I'm a funkaholic. I dig this, y'all. I'm here to get busy with my record machine and squeeze the cheese when I get on the party scene. I can't debate, I agitate and motivate. Your minds will levitate. I desire regurgitate. Hip hop in the 90s, check out the prototype. Used like gas, shot out of a tailpipe. Invade your speakers, ooh, it's the boogeyman. Cutting up records like Edward Scissorhands. Putting my foot down, bust beat the G beat. Giving props to masters and brothers is down deep. Hip hop to the top, funk in the chop shop. Back from the lab, I raised the new crop. Extended coda, a classic like Coca-Cola. Don't drive a motor, respected like a hip hop Yoda. Save the kids from a war zone. Chuck D warned y'all about the terror dome. When I reflect, I get a little bitter. When I leave the house, get shitted on like kitty litter. But I stand up like a man and I bounce back. I'd rather fight against crap than go to Iraq. If your shit stinks, flush it down the toilet. Till the day I die, I'll be a funkaholic. I'm a funkaholic. I'ma tell you about my crew. PCP, Eddie C, and Ski and Mexi Ray, T-Bone, Charlie D, and the Vallis Brothers, among a host of plenty others. Wiz Kid, Nicky B, y'all some bad mothers. Carl Clank, Team Life, cut like a knife fan. Praise due to Allah and your right fan. The new society, gaining notoriety. Natural funk, and you can't chastise me. I put a road like I'm away, cause it's Eric J. I wear the head of a sucker that I had to slip. Life be smooth, I'll be doing flip-flop. Ride the jock, get caught with a judo chop. Fake the funk and your nose to grow. You're caught chasing skeezers and dirty hoes. You disgrace, leave here in a neck brace. You wouldn't know the one up, I hit you with my space base. Step to the plate, I strike is how I call it. Jib up to funk, baby, cause I'm a funkaholic. I'm a funkaholic. I'm a funkaholic. I'm a funkaholic. Just see the look on the face. Just see the look on the face. Everybody say. Just see the look on the face. Just see the look on the face. I can't hear you. Just see the look on the face. 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 This world is a hell of a heaven that we live in, but it's all we've got nasty. Ain't nothing nasty unless you play with it. Play on, baby. Play on, baby. Play on, baby. Eric G's in the house, let her talk the back of this mother. Now I'm gonna tip the furnace all over. So what the? Ow! In the words of the #1 funketeer, I'm just super hypnotic, transphonic, mobilistic, super fantastic, funk inclined all the time, hippo rhythm mine. I'm a midnight funker, baby. In other words, the boy is bad. Funk on.
Dude. I was just looking it up on Spotify, like, okay, I gotta go back and download that. Yo, bro. Funkaholic, Mr. Eric J.
That's some blast off music there, son.
Yes. And I know you just picked up a new fan, Elizabeth from Ireland. So hello, Elizabeth. Thank you for watching. This is my boy Eric J. So maybe we can get his shit.
Yes,
yeah, we get his shit to DJ Coccolino over there in Italy, man. I'm gonna put y'all two together, man. Because he'll spin it, man. He's a good dude. I met him through Elizabeth, and she's really cool, man. Kevin, thank you for the shout outs, man. Dr. Bruckenstein, of course.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Bruckenstein with a funky kind.
Yeah, he David Brooks is like a funk angel. He's almost like the Matrix of funk because he's everywhere at the same time,
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. He's on the trains, he's on the planes, and he will get there.
This dude be transcending time and space. ain't no doubt about it, man. I love you, Brooks.
He's
much
like
respect.
Time to go see a show.
Yo, I'm telling you, sometimes I turn around and he just pops up. He's like there, and I'm like, all right, you just beamed in. I got you, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So let's get back to this seriousness of this spiritual food, and we're hanging out with the amazing Eric J, hip hop legend. New York City. Everybody knows about what he does. You just saw two of his music videos, Run Solid, Run Deep, his latest, and I'm a Funkaholic. What I see is like some of the artists that are out today, they go for the easy money grab. It's all by design, right? And they won't let the real stuff get through. So as far as underground music goes that's speaking a serious positive message, where can you tell people to go find it?
Well, there's a lot of cats that are still active, man. Like Brother J from the X-Clan. Guys like that are still around, and with the internet, you could Google and pull these guys up, man, and see what music they're putting out. Because there's a lot of guys that, we're hip to, people out here, they're hip to what's going on and the different weirdo stuff and different agendas that are trying to be pushed on the masses of people, and people are speaking on it. But they're not going to let you know that people are speaking on it because they don't want you to hear that. But if you seriously want to hear that kind of stuff, you can find it.
Yeah. Tell me your thoughts on this. Because like you mentioned, we know the powers that be are only going to let out but so much of what they want out, right? But why do you think the major hip hop artists of today, as they have branched off into this other venues and being entrepreneurs, why do you think they don't really reach back and grab the guts of hip hop and put that out? I know Chuck D did because he had the movie that came out, and there's a few people that's doing it, but there's so many billions of dollars that they could literally reach down and pull up some of these rappers that are struggling economically and kind of help them because they're standing on their shoulders. Feel me?
Yeah, no doubt. But with hip hop, it's been that way for a long time. It's dog eat dog. And a lot of cats feel when they make it to the mountaintop or whatever they feel that the mountaintop is for them, if I reach back, pull somebody up, they might knock me off my pedestal, So I've seen a lot of that happen.
Yeah. And that's kind of sad as Afro-American men and women trying to help each other, And
and I come from an era, it's like, basically like the Underground Railroad. You could travel from place to place, and when you get to another city, you could be embraced by your people, man. It's like welcome, we got your back. You know, here's a place for you to stay. Here's some food, whatever. You know, but now it's like I'm hearing about cats got to check in with certain people when they go to another town. You know, what's up with that, man? And then, you know, like with this unfortunately, rest in peace to that kid Takeoff, man. You know, he was one of the few newer groups that I actually liked, and I was very, very heartbroken to hear what happened with him.
What happened to him? I don't even know nothing about it.
Well, a couple weeks ago, they went to Houston. If we understand, they were supposed to check in with some certain guys in Houston to have their back while they rolled around the city. So they did that. So, you know, they go out, they go to a bowling alley. After the bowling alley, they come outside and a dice game breaks out. These guys are gambling. And it's, from what I understand, there was a lot of money on the table. An argument broke out. And even though this guy Takeoff was not involved in the dice game or the argument, he was cut down by a stray bullet. You know, it's senseless. And he's supposed to be there under the protection of these guys that they checked in with.
Yeah, see, a lot of that stuff, again, people, you know, back in the day, we went bare knuckles, so it was a whole different mindset. And then you fought, you stay mad for a day or two, you shake hands, and then, you know, you go become best friends. But nowadays, it's like, I think people they had this fear of, wow, if I get beat, that's embarrassing to me. So then I got to shoot, you know, so I don't get embarrassed. It's almost like this weird kind of mindset that these young people have, a lot of them, all races, you know, all races. And it bothers me because we can't get a grip on this shit in the United States. We just can't get a grip on it, man.
It's so much of the culture of guns here, man. I mean, it's unbelievable how America is in love with the weapons, man. And you're seeing people pull weapons out for no reason these days, man. It's madness. It's madness. Yeah. I you know, I would love to see it come to an end because you know, it's like you know, like the expression says, you shoot yourself in the foot literally now.
Yeah, you know, it's sad because here we are, and this planet has so much good and so much greatness and so much love to offer, and at the same time we also offer so much darkness and hate. And like, you know, it says in the scriptures, we're in Revelations, this is the end times, you know. But it's funny because years ago, if somebody would have said, listen, you know, everybody's going to have guns, it's going to be like the Wild Wild West, I would have been like, I don't really see that happening. But now I do. You know, I personally don't own a weapon, but I see it. I see it. You know, and it's sad to me, man.
These days, man. And
it's crazy.
It's unfortunate, man. It's very unfortunate to see all these young people and innocent bystanders getting taken out for, you know, for petty reasons, man. And you know, there's a lot better ways to solve. If you got a problem, there's a lot better ways to go about solving your problem than taking it out on everybody else.
That's right. How do you think, as an artist, we can reflect these times and really put out a positive message? You're doing it, you know, I'm doing it. A lot of artists are doing it, Kevin M. But how do you think, you know, our message is being perceived by these young people? Do you think they really get what we're saying?
I mean, they hear it, but you know, but like the times we are in, there's so many other distractions, man. It's easy for people to get distracted. You know, I mean, you know, you got so many things coming at you at one time. And it's hard to see a positive message coming through everything else.
Yeah. I think that, you know, of course, hip hop is a worldwide phenomenon now. And it started, you know, you're one of the cats that actually, you know, dug the trenches to, you know, pour the cement and foundation in it. You and many, many, many others that have gone.
It was there's got to be hundreds of us, man. That was there in the beginning. You know, a lot of cats never got their due, man, because you know, I mean, it's great the ones that got their due, but this house of hip hop was built by a lot of hands, man. A lot of people had their hands on. A lot of cats you will never hear of. A lot of cats' names will never be in books or nothing like that. But I remember I was there in the beginning, man. I seen what was done. I seen who did it, and even to this day, I'm learning about people that I didn't even know about that had their hands and put down some bricks too.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and that's important. That's why we have to keep doing shows like this and keep telling these stories. Because one thing we can say now, this is documented. They can't take this digital away from us, you know. And the fact that you're doing your thing, and I'm so proud of you, man. And the fact that you know, you're continuing to do it, you know, and put these messages out, that's our mission. That's what we're charged to do, you know. And I know you're a good brother for doing it, man. I appreciate you, man.
I can only speak from the heart, man.
Hey, man, you always did, man. I loved you from day one. It's like when I met you, and then Eric was like, "You need to sing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I need somebody up here with me." And he said he can sing, and I was like, "Who's that?" And the next thing I know, you standing next to me. I was like, "All right." That's how the Naphead recruiting went. I never said no. I was like, "All right."
That time was magic for me, man.
Me too. Same.
I remember the first hit, and John on purpose said, "Yo, man, you got to come down, man. This band be great for you, man. You be perfect for this band." And I came down to the Elbow Room, and we went up on stage, and you said, "Yo, man, you know, just sing the background parts, man. If you don't know, don't sing it. If you know, just join right in. And here's a bag of hats. Play these hats." And then he set me up next to Kev playing drums, and we just took off, man. Just went in, man. I was like, "Woo!" That was electric, man. That was electric.
It was so much fun. That's why we still doing it, man. But again, when I look back and I think about all of that, how it all happened, it was funny because again, nobody never really joined the band. Everybody just showed up and played, and then we became a band. You know what I'm saying? Cats was just coming in like, I'm in. I was like, all right. Because if you were a friend of a friend, then I was like, all right, you good to go. Because I couldn't think about that. I was thinking about other stuff like, you know, the future of the band. But I love the story of that. And that has yet to be told, too. I'm working on a doc because I have all those old videos from the Funky Fish. And I have videos that your guys haven't even seen that was shot by somebody and they sent it to me, this and that. So, yeah, man, we're going to do something, some kind of documentary, you know, and put that together and tell the whole story about it. But we're hanging out with the amazing Eric J, designated hitter for the funk, you know, run silent, run deep. I'm going to bring my producer, Mr. Mark Lee, on, as long as he got the door shut and he's not making noise over there, but he's on the phone right now because I know he has a question to ask you. And also, while he's taking care of that, what are some of the newer projects that you're working on right now? What you got in the can?
I got one I'm working on with Kev, man, called "I'm Still Holding It Down," and you know I've done all my recording, and I brought my man DJ D Flex in to do the scratching because D Flex, he's a brother named his name is Daryl. He lives in my neighborhood, and we hooked up. And this guy is like, his DJ skills are incredible. So I said, Daryl, next time I do a project, I want you to do my scratching for me, man. So he laid his scratches down. I wrote the lyrics. And Kev did the production on the music, man. Kev's music is great. And one of my friends, I let it hear it, says one of the best things I've ever written. So I'm really thrilled. I can't wait to come together so people can hear this, man. Because I think we outdid ourselves on this one, man.
That's when that's gonna be dropping spring, summer. When is that coming out?
I got to talk to the man, you know, because you know Kev, he's got to work his studio magic on it. And once that gets wrapped up, we're gonna put together a video like we did for the other joints, and you know, it shouldn't be too, you know, in the near future. You know, we'll keep everybody, you know, stay tuned, man. It'll be in the near future.
No doubt. Keep that little mystery going on, man. So you know, I'm gonna be on it as soon as I get it. You know, I'm very fortunate because I know all you guys, so I usually get all your stuff first, and then I'm like, yo, I heard it, I'm good to go. Mr. Mark Lee, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. It's crazy.
Got that door closed back there? You got that door closed back
but
there?
there's still kids running around and everything. But, you know, the K-Tie Center, the Cultural Arts Center, got all kinds of things going on, like folks being Black Santa and folks could be me being Black Santa. We did everything, but, you know, there's actually somebody else playing the role, and the jazz band just left, and we had folks playing with robots and all of that. So the robots have left as well, even though the robots might be taking over the world for all we know.
They already did. Real quick, though, Kevin said 2023 it'll be dropping, so that's cool. For y'all out there, look for it. You know, it's going to be a new joint, you know, coming from that camp and Mr. Eric J. All right, Mark, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you.
No problem. Eric J., I did have a couple of quick questions. You know, Zach's always knowing I'm going to have some quick questions or another. And actually, he kind of alluded to one of them, which is that I also remember some great messaging that used to be in hip hop. Y'all alluded to some of them. I was a fan of Public Enemy. Was also a fan back in the day of Africa Bambaataa and Curtis Blow, as well as a number of other folks that had messages in their meaning, including folks like Amira Baraka and Gil Scott-Heron. And I'm wondering who out there now is giving us that kind of messaging, in your opinion. So that was one of the things that I was curious about. If there's some names that we need to be looking for, that might be the next Gil Scott-Heron, because Gil and Amira Baraka, unfortunately, they have passed on, but they both gave us powerful messages in their lyrics. So I was wondering, who do you think folks should be listening to in that space if they're not aware of them?
Well, that's a good question, because I'm not really aware of anybody doing that. Like I said a little earlier, you know, that there's names that we're familiar with, like you said, Paris from the West. He put out an album not too long ago that's very powerful, and Brother Jay from the X-Clan has something out, and of course KRS-One, he's always putting stuff out. You know, you can always look for those guys. You know, and I still listen to them, and they have new material that you can pick up and check out. And they're always bringing a message, man.
You know, let me jump in real fast, Mark, before you ask your next question. One thing that I can say, and you guys can let me know if you agree with this or not, but I've been thinking about this a lot the past 4, 5, 6 years, right? And my audience, please chime in on this as well. Technology has allowed us to all become so individualized with our platforms. And one thing that I wanted to do with Funk from the Front Seat that Mark and I talked about, and even Kevin, when I was talking with Kevin about putting this show together, is bringing everything under one umbrella, still keeping our individual platforms, but bringing all the funk and so much under one umbrella, right? And I think because we all have these platforms, I think sometimes we need to kind of like steer them in the right place so we all like, hip hop, everybody knows where to go instead of going to individual channels, or funk, everybody knows where to go. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a great,
Eric.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You know, because you just like going to the library. You walk into one building, you get all the information in one spot.
Yeah, and I think that's where the next future of independent and underground and above ground artists, that's where we got to go, Mark and Eric. I think because now that we all have these platforms and we're all supporting each other, and I know Mark is getting ready to blow this thing up for Funk from the Front Seat with this other young lady we're working with, Nicole, and his new business, so once that happens, then believe me, I'm gonna try to get as many of my OGs in with that, because Mark is sitting on something really cool with his partner, Nicole. So we're working on something for this very reason, because we all have this ability to work together and create, and the fact that God has spared us and we're still here to do it, that's an amazing thing right there. That's a blessing. So we all have to help each other, man. Mark, go ahead with your second question.
Yeah.
That's all I was gonna say.
No, Eric, and actually alludes to what you were just saying. I was just wondering, do you think enough of the established art groups doing enough to support the music and all of that? Like I said, I've worked at a cultural arts center here in Durham for a number of years. I know that there are other cultural arts centers around the country, including like the Schomburg up there in the New York area. And of course, there are various ones in Atlanta, DC, and other places. So we know that there are a lot of folks that have the keys to the kingdom, if you want to put it that way, that are supposed to be representing our culture. And I was just wondering, are you seeing enough of them actually coming back and letting your voice and other voices being heard and all in that space? So I'd love to hear your thoughts around that.
Great question, Mark.
Well, yeah, I see a lot of guys that do things behind the scenes, to help out artists that are not well known. It's few, just few and far between, but there are guys that do that. And there should be more, because there's so many people out here that have something valuable to bring to the table, and they should be allowed to come to the table. Why not?
Yeah, but if I could just add to the conversation, I know one of the things that has frustrated me, I know it's frustrated Zach as well, is that there's a lot of music history that is not even being taught in our universities. I know Zach has been trying to bring that to the forefront, trying to bring his music not just to be played by the HBCUs, but also to be taught in that space. And of course, there are HBCUs throughout the country, be that Howard, be that Fitz, be that a number of others that I could name, including some here like North Carolina Central and Shaw. And they do really good jobs in teaching theory, but I don't know that they do that great a job in teaching the history and the legacy. And that goes back as far as blues and funk and everything else. And I was just wondering your thoughts around that, and if that's something that you would like to see more of.
I would definitely like to see more of that, because you got to understand those roots, man, because we wouldn't be doing what we do now if it wasn't for the people that came before us. You know, it's like, you know, that's why I give thanks to the ancestors every day. You know, y'all paved the way. You know, you made sacrifices, you did things, you went through certain situations, and that made you who you are to give birth to who we are. And if you know, and if you don't have that tie to the past, you know, you're kind of lost, because you don't know where you're going to go. You know, you really don't know where you got it from, or what it took for you to get to the point to be doing what you're doing.
That's right. And you know, Mark, that's an awesome question. And again, platforms like we have working together is one way that we can do it, because God still has us pushing. So together we're stronger. I urge every artist out there, hip hop, rock, funk, jazz, pop, whatever you're doing, soul, neo soul, work together with people. The more we work together and stop being the crabs in the barrel theory, the more we can get done. If you can't do something, but you know another brother that can, or another sister that can, you reach out to them and say, listen, I got this slot for you. I can't make this slot work for me. But as opposed to letting this slot sit there empty or throwing it away, let me give it to somebody. If you can't work with it, give it to somebody you know. See, that's how other cultures do it. We as Black people and minorities have to keep thinking constantly, oh, man, somebody going to stab me in the back. Oh, man, can I trust this person? We got to stop that mindset. We have to start trusting each other, and we have to understand we're powerful together, like that movie Planet of the Apes. When he took the stick, one stick, then he broke it and made it 2 sticks, he said you're stronger together, right? But we have to address the elephant in the room. Go ahead, Mark, before I
and it may go to the elephant in the room as well, but we also can't let our cultures and our things be hijacked, because one of the things that frustrates me is when there are folks that are hijacking the music. I mean, they see the love of the music and then they make more money off of it than we do, and don't even reach back and acknowledge where the music came from. And you can say that about blues, you can say that about hip hop, you can say that about a number of other things. And I would even argue that there are things that when we get our voice into it, then they try to pivot the conversation. Like I know that Zach has said that he would love to see some funk music in things like the Super Bowl, which we haven't seen that yet and everything. And I would love to see, I'm a fan, or to become even more a fan of the Marvel superheroes and all of that, and definitely along those lines. But it would be nice if we saw maybe some funk tracks in some of those movies as well, or more than we've actually been seeing. But maybe I've just been missing the tracks. Have you seen enough tracks in that regards, Eric, and all in that line? But I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Definitely not, because you know, it's, you know, the funk, you know, like Boosie and them said, funk used to be a bad word, man. It still is, man. You know, they scared. It's like they scared of it.
It is. Every now and then I'll hear a Boosie or a P-Funk or a funk track in something, some cartoon. They'll drop it in here and there. George did some voiceover work for one of the cartoons, animated stuff. Boosie has done stuff. But again, those are the two pioneers and kings. So everybody else got to fit in the slot. And be honest with you, this new track I got coming out, What Came First, called Funkin' or the Egg, that's why I wrote it. I kind of had a cartoon in mind for that track. That's why I'm talking about Chicken Little and everything, which, by the way, out there drops next Friday on P-Funk Radio exclusively. So y'all check it out. What Came First, the Funkin' or the Egg, Nappy Head Funk Army 2.0. And if it wasn't for this brother and other brothers like Eric J., the Nappy Head Funk Army still wouldn't be going, because you guys help make the brand, and you're still part of the brand, always will be part of the brand, and you help brand it. So that's that. Have it be said. But I have to address the elephant in the room. American politics. Run silent, run deep. And please don't get mad at me for saying it like this, but what the hell are we doing? What are we doing? Like what is it that, to me, we got way too many politicians now, but what are we doing that we can't figure our own country out? Like, what is it? I need to know, because I think sometimes I wake up and I'm dreaming. I'm like, okay, another kid shoots another kid, another homicide, another, gun violence in the schools. This other kid, I can't even keep track. There was a mass shooting just the other day. I didn't even know about it. I missed it. Completely missed it.
It gets to be overwhelming, man. But like I said, I think it's by design too, to keep the masses of people in confusion while they just steal. I mean, that's all I see is people stealing everything that ain't nailed down, where everybody else is running around confused, can't figure out what's going on. And then meanwhile, we running around stabbing each other in the back, calling everybody names and this and that. It's people sitting on top of just taking everything but the kitchen sink,
I love the way you said it. It reminds me, I get a picture of the New York City blackout, but he said everybody just steal.
Yeah.
But Zach, isn't there an old saying, and it comes back to something Eric said earlier when I was listening to y'all in the early part of the conversation, and definitely it's been out there for a while. I think that it's nothing new. It's been out there definitely since the 60s, back during the slave era, and even before that, it was out there in certain cultures and everything. There's an old tactic in the military called divide and conquer. So if you got different folks that are going and put them at each other, then you can sit there and ride right into the White House. They get whatever you want to. I still don't know what the heck Donald Trump got in his house and everything, because I think he took a lot of things out of the White House that probably need to be in the White House. But that's just my thoughts. But that whole divide and conquer mentality is a real thing.
Right. Yeah. You're right.
It's a shame to see at this point in history, people don't see the game,
Yes.
It's this ain't this is an old bowl of soup warmed over, man. And
yes, it is.
Like delicacy, but it's the same soup warmed over.
Like you said, the zombified, or the I want to say the brainwashing, cultish kind of mindset that if I disagree with you or you disagree with me, that automatically puts us on opposite sides. But truth be told, all it is just opinions. We have everybody giving their opinion now, right? And everybody thinks that their opinion should run the country, right? And this is where we got issues at, I personally, and this is just me, I liked it better when the mob ran the country. Mian, I agree with you 100%. I liked it better because they only shot soldiers of the mob. They didn't really come after us, and everything was great. I had no problems.
And you see that's how they did it too. How they erased the mob. Rudy Giuliani and them came in and erased the mob, and then they took over and they running the same game.
Same game.
They took over all the stuff that the mob was running. They run now. Like, look at the marijuana industry. When it was bootleg, you go get your nickel bag. Now they done took it over, guys in suits and ties. You got to pay all this exorbitant money for something that they created. Come on. And they package it and this and that. And they've done it with music. Because like listening to the funk in the 70s when it was funk, and then you go to a discotheque. All of a sudden they brand our music, not the funk, but it's disco. And then the corporations came and took over disco, and then now we got a stamp to put out disco music. All the disco music gonna sound like this. Oh, if you don't sound like this, we're not gonna promote it because we want disco to sound like this. They've done it with hip hop. Hip hop was raw, came straight out the street. Nobody can deny that. Kids in the projects developed this sound, and we took that, we packaged it. Now we see we made money. Now we got hip hop, and it's just like disco with all the glitter now. You see all these acts now, these guys wearing shiny suits and this and that, just like what they did with disco. And it all sounds the same. And it's the same soup warmed over, man.
Yeah. And I'm glad you're saying it that way, because I too express the same feelings at times. And I look around the world, there's so many. And Mian, thank you, man. Mian is one of the best artists. She's bright, up and coming, sign language linguist artist. I think I got that right, Mian. And thank you. I appreciate you, man. And she's always on the show. And together, we got to be strong, because what I see is that the industry can't stop the flow of independent music now because of Spotify, iTunes, Apple Tunes. But this iHeart tour, I bet you they won't let none of us get on it. I know people that's on it. They won't let none of us get on it.
Yeah, I don't see that happening either, man. Because they looking at selling a mass amount of tickets and this and that. We're gonna rent out the biggest stadiums, and we're gonna get the biggest names just like any other tour.
Yep, that's why we starting our own work with Tony Cam and the other bands, and I'm sure you guys will be involved too. You know, the New Funk Radio Tour, because that's the only way we're going to be able to do it. Is have our own tour set up to where they get big enough to where then the major promoters come and look at it and say, okay, now I'm ready to buy it. But before that, go ahead, Mark.
No, it sounds like what y'all are saying. One, I was just laughing backstage because I was going like, wait a minute. Yeah, they're right, because the mafia is still running things. They're just a different mafia, and there's actually a mafia that was always there. It's that government mafia. They just using the same tactics, and including dropping the drugs off in our neighborhood and everything. Because as I've said before, I ain't seen that many brothers with planes and the helicopters and the other means to get it from wherever they're bringing it from. So you can't tell me that it's not being intentionally placed in certain communities and without any concrete proof otherwise. So everything that I'm seeing from circumstantial evidence is showing the government has been involved and will continue to be involved. And definitely folks just got to realize that and keep that awakeness going on. I know that y'all oftentimes talk about that third eye, and that third eye is a real thing. You got to keep it open and aware of what's happening in the world. And I'm loving this notion of new tours, because I'm seeing that from a couple of folks, both out of the, of course, funk community, the poetry community, and other things, because there used to be a thing in the blues and the jazz field called the Chitlin Circuit. And it sounds like what we're saying we got to do is bring that back, because right now the major corporations are who own the major acts, and they own them both on the distribution side, the artist side, the venue side, and a number of other sides.
And the promoter side.
The promoter side.
Yep.
So we got to create our own, because a lot of them are basically having what they claim they never won in the U.S., and they sometimes bust them. But you can't tell me they're not monopolies in the music and entertainment industry, when radio is basically controlled by 3 or 4 entities, and the same can be said about the concert side and a number of other sides. So I've got all on my soapbox here today, and sometimes Zach will let me do that. So I'm going to get off the soapbox right now. But it's something that folks got to be real aware of, and when they're aware of it, we got to find ways to create our own. And I'm tired of folks telling me that we can't create our own and that we can't use what exists in creation of that own, because if there was a Black Wall Street, there can be a new Black Wall Street, and there can even be virtual and other versions as well. This is Mark getting off the soapbox.
Amen. And getting back to what you said, Mark, and thank you for that. It's like, you know, with this metaverse stuff that's out now, we're like, I don't know, a small percentage of the population, minorities, but we spend 3 times our money. You know, people got to get hip to that. You know, minorities spend more money on the pound for pound, dollar for dollar than any other culture, because we're always buying stupid shit we don't need, you know. So I got advice for anybody out there. Try to limit what it is that you actually think you want, as opposed to what you think you need. I've been reading a lot of books on this since 2020 happened, and a lot of economic people, you know, I've been reaching out to. And, you know, I actually myself, and I'm very proud of this, was able to start, you know, a mutual fund set up for my daughters. You know, it's not much, but once a month they get a little something. I put it in there, and I'm going to let, you know, the market do what it does with it, you know. But we have to start thinking about, you know, our own brand. You know, Mark and I was on a meeting yesterday, and, you know, we're getting ready to do LLCs and stuff like that. So, you know, thinking about owning and ownership is more important at this point, because we already got the music and the skills. Now it's about that ownership. This is why I look up so much to Bootsy and Patty, because Bootsy's always dropping me little side tidbits about how to, you know, do this business side of it and how to keep it real. I've talked to Kevin about it. You know, I've talked to a number of people about it. And that's the part, I think, where as independent artists that we sometimes drop the ball, because we're so happy and anxious to be on the stage, we forget that there's a business side to this. And as Black people, I get so sick and tired of us saying we can't do this and can't do that. You know, we're the mothers of invention when it came to necessity as slaves building stuff. Most of the stuff that was built by slaves, because it was like, I got to make this job easier. You know?
But that's still the mother of the invention. I think it was just recently that one of the social media spaces, it might have even been Google or Facebook, was showing how some of the things that we see every day, like this laptop and video cartridges and a number of other things, are still being invented by brothers and sisters, but they don't get the acknowledgement about that. Right. So there's a lot of times we are still at the height of invention and the height of what's going on in that space, but a lot of times folks don't even recognize or acknowledge who was behind it.
That's right. I got one quick question, and again, we're hanging out. Mark Lee, my producer and everything, and helps me slash manage some things. Eric J, OG, please follow his information. Is down here on Facebook. You can follow it, man. Your music is insane. We're definitely going to give you the last word, but I do want to ask you one more little quick elephant in the room question. I'm just going to say two names: Elon Musk, Eric J.
Yeah. Where's my Boff bag, man? It's like, oh man, now wonder there's a storm outside because that guy, this is a guy that comes from South Africa, man, and he was raised in the apartheid era, benefiting with all the benefits that he got, and he's come here, he's taken over a social media platform. And he's unleashed the Kraken again, man. I mean, I see nothing positive with that, associated with this guy's name, man.
I love that, unleash the Kraken.
Yeah, yo, because I use Twitter, and since he's taken over, I see the difference, man. It's like, wow, it's like night and day.
Yeah. Mark, go ahead, man. Because
I was going to say, Elon Musk he's definitely done some crazy things, still doing some crazy things, like trying to be one of those folks. And there are several rich folks that are already telling us how they feel about the earth that we live on, because they're the ones trying to go out there to space and doing private trips to space. So they already done told you that they're not going to be doing anything but trying to destroy this side of the world, and then they'll have an escape plan, because that's what rich folks and other folks do. They oftentimes will have an escape plan of one sort or another. So the fact that him and Richard Branson and a number of others are trying to go up to space ought to be telling folks something in the first place. So that's just one of the things I gotta say about Elon Musk. But the other thing that I've heard that I find almost hilarious is that some folks will throw Elon Musk back at us because of what Eric just said. They'll be like, well, y'all supposed to love Elon Musk. And I'm like, why am I supposed to love Elon Musk? And they're like, because he's from South Africa, therefore he's African, therefore he's African American. And I'm going like, what kind of sense does that make? But I've heard people throw that back at us.
I never heard that one, man. Because, I know what this guy comes from. I remember what South Africa was back in the day, because we were schooled on that in high school, man. And I'll never forget a film a teacher of mine showed us how they did the Africans over there, man. And that's Zulu territory that they're standing on. And what they've done to the Zulu tribe and the people of that area. And these people call themselves Africans, and we all know they came from Europe and just took over.
But they ain't the only ones that did that. You talk about the Zulu tribes that are standing on, that South Africa stands on, and that they stood on when they were an apartheid government. Fortunately, it is an independent government right now. But there's these great figures that are there, and I'm not knocking the fact of the figures and everything. But right here in the United States, we've got something called Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore sits on Native American land and Native American tribes and all of that. So we can say that we've done the same daggone thing.
Yeah, we have definitely done the same thing. And but the thing is, this country gets better press.
Yes.
They get to narrate their own story.
Yep.
That's the difference. They tell their story, and they're not. People from the outside come and say, "Oh wow, America's so great. America's done this, they done that." But you're not going to hear how they did this because they won't tell you.
That's right. That's right. And
go ahead. About what's going on now with all the. Look at this guy in Florida, man.
DeSantis?
Putting a lockdown on information. And like I said, to keep people stupid so they can continue to steal. If you don't know what's going on, you won't even know when you're being robbed.
That's right. That's right. And see, this is why I see this, because I drive for a living, right, besides doing music. And I see society morphing into drones because if you notice, you watch people in a restaurant, they can be right next to each other. They're not talking. They on their phone. Then you see people walking, right? They don't even walk normal no more. They walk with their hands straight down to the side and they got earbuds in. So now they just give you a nod. You know, and I yo, bro, it ain't me because my third eye is open. I'm anti-society. Y'all know that about me. I'm a funky duck. And when I be seeing people walk like this, their arms don't be moving. I was like, damn, they got you. It's almost like that movie Body Snatchers. You know what I'm saying? I was like, look at this person. They're not even swinging their arms. Just their legs are moving. And I was like, this looks so weird to me.
And that's the great thing that we came up in that era with them science fiction movies.
Right.
So we can look at the world with them sunglasses on like they live. And we see what's up.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
No,
and you
Eric,
know, that's not by accident. Like you said, that's by design.
Oh, it's totally by design. And Eric, I just wanted to hear your thoughts because I've got a couple of friends of mine that are from other countries, and I've always believed, not always doing it great in my own life, but if there are problems in your house, meaning in the house, whether that's the house around music or culture, or whether that's the house that we live in race relations, that the best thing to do is recognize the problem and clean the house and all in that kind of space. But then I've got friends that are like, nah, one, you're painting America horribly, and two, you ought to just be loving what America is about and not having that quote unquote victim mentality. So I'm sure that up there in New York, you hear that as well. So when folks tell you, you know, America, love it or leave it, what is your response to them when you are trying to show in your music and other things how we can improve America? And you don't necessarily have to leave it. You can recognize the problems and try to fix the problems, or at least work on fixing the problems, because some of the problems are probably beyond our lifetime of being fixed and all of that. But I have heard this narrative too often from some of my foreign friends. They're like, you just talk negatively about America. It can't be that bad. And every time I come there to what Zach just said, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. And I'm like, yeah, it's got some wonderful aspects and it's got some beautiful aspects, but racism is real and racism still lives.
Exactly. And that's my whole feelings on this, my sentiments exactly, man, because we live here. Mm-hmm. And we've been through a whole lot in this country. And like I said earlier, man, you know, what they see overseas is what the people who run things want you to see. They're not going to, like with Ron DeSantis and them. We don't want you to know your history. So, you know, you can't have a grip on what the possibilities can be. And it's a shame, man, because we here, we got to deal with this stuff every day. You know, we still got to put up with police. If you don't see it in the news, it's because they don't want you to see it on the news and make a big stink about it. Because in 2020, you know, when George Floyd was killed, everybody was in the street. It was like, mm-hmm. we didn't have to vote on nothing. We took it directly to the source and said, we're coming for you. If you don't fix this now, it's going to be a problem. So they had to make some concessions for that.
You know, I think that putting a bow on this show, everything we talked about encapsulates your music. You know, mm-hmm. because your music is raw, it's real, it's message, it's videotaped in the streets, from the streets, and you're one of the OGs. And today we've been hanging out and we've been blessed. Part one, because you're going to come back for part 2 and 3, and we're going to get into this, you know, a couple of weeks from now. You know, we'll schedule some stuff because there's so much history in your body and your soul and your mind, and the world is better with you sharing your music, man. And we're gracious to have you. We're humbled. We appreciate you on this show, man. You are madly, madly loved and respected as an artist, as a human being, as a man, as a father, all of these good things, man. You know, rolled up into one, as Bootsy would say. You know, it's like, you know, I look forward to when I get a chance to see you smile, man, because I miss you dearly, trust me. And we ain't done yet. Like I said, we ain't done yet.
Yeah.
We ain't done yet.
You know, as long as we here, man, we gonna be doing what we do, man. That's you know,
right. That's right. I'm gonna give you the full screen and let you get the last word. And thank you, Mark. You know, and I want you to, you know, shout out your message to the people. And
all right, y'all, man. This is DJ MC Eric J coming to you live, New York City, tri-state area. Peace to my friends in DC, New Orleans, all up and down the East and West Coast, worldwide, Ireland. Thank you for tuning in. Kev, Nancy, one love. Hope to see y'all soon. Dr. Brookenstein of The Funky Kind. I just want everybody just stay aware, be positive, and always give thanks to the Creator for blessing us to be here. And thanks to the ancestors for their sacrifices and paving the way for us to be here today. I want everybody to stay healthy. If you have any ailments, I wish you fast healing. And thank you for having me today, Number 9 and the whole crew. Peace to y'all. One love.
Yo, it's been a blessing, bro. I appreciate that, man. We're gonna get out of here with some Boosie. Funk from the front seat, the power of the one. We've been hanging out today with OG hip-hop rap legend Eric J. Part 1. Stay tuned for Part 2, y'all. Stay on code. New York, Strong Island. Funk from the front seat, Ohio. What's up, Boosie Patty? How you doing, Brenda? DC, Jersey, you heard. Delaware, are you aware, Pennsylvania? Kentucky, Georgia, North, South Carolina, Virginia. I love you, fam. Shout out to my superwoman. Florida, Oklahoma, New Orleans. You're gonna ride in the front seat with us. We love you. Nothing but the funk, y'all. Detroit, Minneapolis, Jersey, you heard? Canada, Alaska, North and South Pole, Hawaii, Samoans doing the Humpty Hump. Humpty Hump. Nevada, I don't see you clapping your hands, Joanne. I know you out there. Elizabeth in Ireland, thank you for tuning in, honey. PJ Copolino in Italy, I'm going to send you Eric J's back, all right? You got to run that for me. Africa, the whole continent. Dubai, Pumaputo. Woo! Brazil, como está? Puerto Rico, Haiti, I got you. Ukraine, we didn't forget about you. Russia, I know all y'all ain't bad. Ain't nothing but the funk, y'all. Eric J was with us today. Oh, I love that brother. You know we got the power to one, y'all. Hashtag funk, not fight. And don't forget, drop it next Friday night. What came first, the funkin' or the egg? Happy Head Funk Army. Reverend Joe Keith today, late bloomer band. Thank you, Joe. Dr. Brookenstein, where you at, Philly? Woo! Nothing but the funk right here. Thanks, Kev. Love you, man. Stay on code. Nothing but the funk, y'all. Funk from the front seat. We got you all around the world. Peace, love, and harmony. That's what we do. Thank you, StreamYard. Thank you, Facebook, YouTube. Oh, look who's in the house. Eric J, y'all. Eric J's in the house. Woo! I'm loving it. Yeah. All around the world, clap your hands. Come on. See, this is what funk is. Universal love. Truth. Baby Bubba. Woo! We'll catch y'all next week, all right? Y'all stay safe out there. Have a happy holiday and all that good stuff, man. And don't forget, man, love each other, take care of each other, nurture each other, man, and watch each other's back, man, because like they said in New Jack City, we all we got, man. Thank you, Eric J. It's been an amazing show today. I appreciate you, brother. I love all you guys for staying active on the chat line out there, man. Go back and watch this show to your heart's content. It's all over YouTube, man. Make sure y'all follow this brother because I'm telling you, man, this brother, he's got it going on. And it's a pleasure and a blessing, and we're humbled and grateful to have had you on the show. Appreciate you, man. And I'll see you for part 2 down the line, brother.
Thank you, man. See you soon.
Peace.
Peace.